Hey there guys, DMO73 here, bringing you some more spoiler coverage for Legacy of the Lost. Today we are looking at some water cards as well as some water darkness cards, checking out Charlotte as she continues on her adventure in traditional Force of Will fashion, going from a ruler to being a resonator. So let's just dig right in. So, Charlotte, the wielder of the sacred spirit. First off, just going to say this card art is gorgeous, but we'll move on from there. She's a 4-drop 0/0, and she has, this is the interesting part, she has barrier for total cost equal to or less than the number of cards in your hand. So, if you have 5 cards in your hand, then no card on the field, no card being put on the chase, anything like that that has an effect or a spell can target, that has a total cost of 5 or less, can target her. That's crazy. Even she's completely immune to regalia. You know, she's immune to bows because bows have a cost of 0. So that's interesting enough. She gains +2/+2 for every card in your hand, and when this card enters your field, you draw a card. So interestingly enough, this card is completely immune to bear magic, which is massive, because if you have 0 cards in your hand, she's immediately going to be killed by rules process. So if you have at least 1 card in your hand, then she's protected from anything 1-drop and below, which means that you can't hit her with bear magic. This card is very impressive. Having that kind of hex-proof ability, I think this card is definitely going to see some play in control decks. To have a body on field that they can just kind of keep using, especially for control mirrors, because control's probably never going to have a way to kill this card. So I think that's awesome. And when she enters your field, you draw a card, so she replaces herself. She is expensive as a 4-drop, but I definitely think that she has a place in this, and having that kind of pretty strong barrier effect, I think is just very, very good. Next up, we have fishing. So Charlotte is hanging out with the wise old man, I guess, the fisherman. So it's a 1-drop blue chant. Put the top card of your deck into your graveyard. If it was put into a graveyard this way, you put an XX Water Darkness Fantasy Resonator token into your field, where X is that card's total cost. So this is pretty interesting. You can use something like Shion to have like a 1-drop 10/10 vanilla, if you have like a remote control golem or something like that. So it's a pretty interesting concept. I'm not necessarily quite sure how I feel about it. You have to stack a good card on top of your deck, and it's just a vanilla fantasy resonator. I mean, I can see it with making plays like a Domberly and stuff like that, because then you suddenly have a water darkness creature on the board out of nowhere, and so you can make use of that with a Domberly. But outside of that, I'm not sure how this card fits. And then we have Jeong Zhongxia, if I pronounce it right, the fisherman. 3-drop 7/7, and it has the same effect as fishing. It's just a creature. Now I like this a little bit better because it also gets you a body, and 3-drop 7/7 is pretty decent stat wise. Again, I'm still not quite sure how I feel about that mechanic in terms of competitive play, but I think if you're playing in pre-releases and stuff, this is definitely going to be something that is impactful. Getting 2 creatures for the price of 1 is always good. Next up, we have the Reunion of Sisters, which is a 3-drop chant, and you choose 1, and if you control a light J/Resonator and a different water J/Resonator, so it's a pact, you may choose both. You can either draw 2 cards, which is pretty good, or return target resonator to its owner's hand. So if you have a light and a water card, this card is crazy. It's a 3-drop chant. It's not instant speed, that's fine, but you draw 2 cards and you bounce the thing back to its owner's hand. I think that's probably the only good way to cast this card, is when it's the pact, the full pact, but especially since it's not instant speed. But if you can get it to resolve, that's pretty strong, and it's just, again, it's great art. Faria and Charlotte finally being reunited. Then we have the Ghost of Autorock, going into some dual color cards. 1 black, 1 blue, 1/3. Whenever this card deals damage to your opponent, you draw a card, and your opponent discards a card. I don't like this card at all. I think it's a 2-drop, and its stats are worse than a 1-drop. It does have, an interesting effect, but with only 300 defense, it dies to pretty much everything that exists in terms of removal. Even with the 100 attack, like Unseen Pressure can kill it. So like every attribute has the card that can kill this for 1, and it's a 2 mana cost creature. So I don't think this card is very good at all in terms of competitive sense. And then we have my personal favorite card from this spoiler, Magic Rebound. So it's 1 black, 1 blue, instant, chant with quick cast. Change the target of a spell or ability with a single target, and then you draw a card. So it's a redirect for spells or abilities that also draws you a card. Super huge fan. Super huge fan of this. This is great for control mirrors. They flip over their melders and stuff, try to target your stuff. You just bounce their melder back at them, or they try and burn something. You redirect it, or just lots of other crazy stuff you can do with this because it spells or abilities, which is pretty awesome. Your opponent goes to do like Alice Castling to their Wyvern, and you redirect it to their Guinevere. And then you get to draw a card, and it's like, well, now you're gonna lose your Wyvern, you're probably gonna lose your Gwen. What are you gonna do? I think that's just really, really good. Very excited about this spell. But that's it, what we have for today. Let me know what you guys think about these cards. Comment section down below. Go ahead and like and subscribe as always. And until next time, this is DMO73 signing off.